young, running wild, chasing stars into the night. Never knew where I belonged, just a fire burning bright. Took the long road, lost my way, thought the echoes call you home. Feel the dark and feel the rain, I was never quite alone. Oh, oh, feel it in our soul, the winds are changing, I must go. Oh, oh, feel it in our soul, and so really you need to know. So don't wake me up till I find my way further highs and lower my faith. Let the words be on, let the moments fade. I'll keep running till I find my way. Find my way, find my way. I'll keep running till I find my way. Find my way, find my way. I'll keep running till I find my way. Pulling back, it's clear to me, every road was meant to be. Every heartbreak, every scar, just a lesson to set you free. I won't fear the great unknown, I won't wait for time to slow. Gotta chase it while I care, cause tomorrow's never told. Oh, oh, feel it in our soul, the winds are changing, I must go. Oh, oh, feel it in our soul, and so really you need to know. So don't wake me up till I find my way further highs and lower my faith. Let the words be on, let the moments fade. I'll keep running till I find my way. Find my way, find my way. I'll keep running till I find my way. Find my way, find my way. I'll keep running till I find my way. So don't wake me up till I find my way further highs and lower my faith. Let the words be on, let the moments fade. I'll keep running till I find my way. Find my way, find my way. I'll keep running till I find my way.
All right. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in this beautiful planet of ours. This is Metaphysical Meetup with Marc, live here on the Intuitive Prospector pages. We're streaming through Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, a couple other places. But hello to my fellow prospectors. How are you all doing today? Let me get a second here just to get over, make sure that we're broadcasting okay, that the sound quality is up to par. I am your host, Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector, here with you yet again on another fabulous Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We try to be here, and I say we because I have an awesome team of moderators and administrators that monitor the comments, keep the page inspirational, uplifting, encouraging, and having fun, right? So when I say we here are here every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We try to be here, or I try to be here on most Fridays, but as we are getting into the summer, last Friday I was not online to give you some communications, to give you some inspiration to think about, life, life after life, life after death, however you want to call it, however you want to refer to it. And I was actually out with my good friends golfing, getting out in nature. So sometimes I'm not here on Fridays, and that's okay. You can always catch replays over on my page, or you can go to my YouTube channel and catch those shows that are streaming over there. So good morning to all my prospector friends out there. I hope that you're doing well and in good health. Grab your coffee, grab your tea. We're going to explore today on the topic of anxiety, something that we were just talking about on my group, my spiritual development group on Wednesdays, and embracing that nervousness, embracing the unknown, embracing the butterflies, if you will. And this kind of inspired me today to just to talk about, because I'm sure there's a lot of anxiety out in the world right now. I have no doubt about that. We are living in very um, transformative times. And if you have followed my journey, this should not surprise you. I started talking about the roaring 20s of change, ascension, and transformation, and the great coming together back in as far back as 2017. And I said that this decade, this roaring 20s, our roaring 20s, would be a decade remembered in history as great transformation, very similar to the great industrial revolution. There are certain periods and times that really define how consciousness and how society and us as a species moves forward. And this is one of those decades, whether it's from learning that we're not alone in the universe, to automation, to robotics, to what we once called artificial intelligence. I've now heard it a few different ways, from superior intelligence, higher intelligence, but AI, artificial intelligence. There's going to be a lot of transformation that takes place with that. And it's going to open up some doors that that have long remained closed to us. And it's going to start to give us some answers. I'm just not sure that the entire population is ready for the answers to the questions we have asked. If you follow my journey, if you follow my podcast, Inspired Living, we've been on the air for almost 10 seasons now. You can find Inspired Living wherever you get your favorite podcast, through Audible, through Alexa. You can say, open up Inspired Living podcast, and that'll play the latest episode. But I've been talking about a lot of these mysteries, these phenomenons, for several years now. So if you follow my journey, I've been talking about this, the secrets of Antarctica. I just saw, as a fellow coastie, I just saw that the Coast Guard brought in a new icebreaker that's coming here to Seattle, and then it will eventually go up to Alaska. But there's a race, I always say, just follow the money. There's a race for the exploration of Antarctica. Russia and China are already there. They have about 12 icebreakers in their fleet. We have 2, which that's not including the third one they just added, because there's a lot of stuff down there, from resources, minerals, pyramids. This goes all the way back before World War II. Hitler was completely fascinated with the occult and the unknown, and sent his troops down there to explore Antarctica. So there's a lot of mysteries that we just don't know. And if you're curious and you have that curious mind and you love history, then give us a follow, give us a like, join us on Fridays, join my YouTube channel, join the podcast, because we're always talking about all of these things. And you don't have to agree with them. Some of it is pseudoscience. Some of it we can prove. Some of it we can't prove. But if we align to what we truly know from a scientific means, we've only confirmed about 4% of science based on mathematics. And I'm not talking theory. I'm not talking hypothesis. I'm talking 4% that has actually been confirmed in the scientific matter. The scientific method can be measured, so that means that there's 96% of science that we just have not yet understood or can comprehend. It's the same thing with the exploration of our oceans. This planet is 70% water, and we've only discovered it depends on what research you follow, like I do, but anywhere between 8% and 15% of the actual oceans explored. But the actual bottom of the ocean, it's like 0.00001% of the entire ocean bed that we just still have no idea. And we will, over time, as our technology improves, as our transportation improves, as our understanding of things, including what is seen and what is not seen. Nikola Tesla, who is, to me, I put him in the lines of Da Vinci, Einstein. Tesla was talking about, all the way back in the late 1800s, 1865, when he was doing his Tesla study in Colorado with his Tesla towers. He talked about, if you want to start to unlock the secrets of the universe, you have to think in terms of energy, frequency, vibration, and that can be anything from communication to medicine to transportation. And it's an exciting time to be alive. I know that there's a lot going on in the world, and that can drive, anxiety, which can lead to other ailments in the human experience. So today I'm going to share with you an anxiety kit, I guess is what we could call it. But there's a saying that I want you to tune into that really has resonated with me. When you have that nervousness, when you have that uncertainty, when you have those butterflies in your gut, which we call the solar plexus, I want you to remember this term and kind of reframe reframe the anxiety. This is something I've long explored for many years, my own journey and the events and the soul adventures that I've had to understand depression, PTSD, anxiety. So I have a lot of experience in this arena. Understand, I opened up the show with a quote that says, once a student of loss, tragedy, and trauma, today a teacher of aspiration, inspiration, rehabilitation, and transformation. And that's because I've done this in my 50 plus years on the planet of trying to understand. And there's things that I just still will not grasp. I'm still just a child walking in this world of knowledge and ancient mysticism. And that's why we call this Metaphysical Meetup with Marc, so we can explore and we can discuss and have different perspectives. Trying to change the way that we behave through social media is something that I've long set forth to do the last few years, because I just found social media to be very dysfunctional, very negative. Everybody has opinion behind a keyboard, but then you put people together and they're not like that at all. It's like there's a video I was watching the other day. There was two dogs in the same pen, and they were just totally getting along. They take one dog out of the pen and put it on the other side of this fence, this little fence. They can still see each other. And as soon as that gate is closed, the two dogs start going at it. And that kind of reminded me of what society reminds me of what's going on. People behind, these keyboard warriors, if you will, that just, have no courtesy, have no kindness, have no compassion for another human being. But then they get together, at church, or they get together for a community event, and everybody is civil and polite. We just need to adapt to the evolution of what our social media is. It's an evolution process, is the way I'm looking at it. Everywhere from politics to social construct. These are things that we have to evolve through our technology, evolve with these platforms. I'm not a big fan of social media anymore, but I know that it can reach a lot of people. And I do want to just say thank you so much for all of the prospectors. Got a couple announcements for you today. For those of you that are following me over my YouTube channel, you can get everything right here at marclainhart.com. Just go to the subscribe store, get on the YouTube channel. We are now officially over 40,000 subscribers. Wow. Very, very grateful. And we have a lot of shows on there. So go check that out if you're curious. Like I said, if you're exploring the world for the diamond within, but also the many hidden gems around us, then check out that YouTube channel, get on my newsletter, check out my latest articles. I do a lot of writing, working on my second book. My first book is out from last year. It's doing really well over on Amazon. It's called Reflections Between Worlds. This was published by Best American Psychics, who I'm an affiliate with. And I give my perspective of how this all started, because I wasn't going down the path of being a psychic or a medium. What I love about this book is you can turn it upside down and it still looks the same. So it's a pretty cool cover. But working on my second book, and that will be out hopefully next year if I can get everything in line. So that's the first announcement. Thank you to the prospectors for the YouTube channel subscription. Over 40,000 prospectors now. And that's really exciting. So that means that the message is at least reaching some of you out there. As far as my studies that I've been on, for those of you that followed my journey, this last year has been very transformative. I've had 4 major surgeries in less than a year, and it actually moved me into a path of medical retirement, which is fine, because now I get to do a lot more of this, a lot more writing, a lot more podcasting, a lot more YouTubing, TikToking. I guess they call that content creators, I guess, or influencers. I don't really get caught up in that. I just like, life is short, have fun, right? Yesterday is history. Tomorrow's the mystery. Today is the gift. That's why we call it the present. And I'm all about the carpe diem and just sharing with you, because I've experienced so much. But at the same time, we have to use social media to try to reach people. So I guess if I'm coined now as an influencer or a content creator, so be it. But I like to say that I'm a teacher. And for the last 4 years, I've been working on an accreditation for speaking and demonstrating mediumship with my spirituality. So for those of you that are, maybe new to this language or this lingo, like I was 2 decades ago, when you hear the word psychic, the first thing you think about is fortune telling and telling somebody's future. That's really not where I am in my abilities and my skill set and my education. Psychic means of the soul, and it helps people to understand what's going on with their journey. Mediumship is actually connecting with those loved ones, family, friends, fur babies that have crossed over. Not anything to do with spirit guides or angels. I do believe in those, but that's not something that I do. But for the last 4 years, actually 5 years, because I had an extension because of my medical surgeries, they gave me a pause so I could get healed and recovered in rehab. But for the last 5 years, I have been working on a very detailed accreditation scheme through the SNU called the Spiritual National Union. And I started right when the pandemic was hitting, literally like that. I think my logbook, I think I had to go back. So here's my logbook. You log hours. You actually have training hours, demonstrations, addresses, papers. There's 8 chapters. You have to write papers. I started on August of 2020. So we were already in the pandemic, right? I think where I live here in Seattle, 8 miles from here is Kirkland, and that's where one of the first cases hit as far as death goes when it came to this COVID. And that's when the country in March, I think it was March 15th, started to shut down 2020. And then we had 2 years of, pandemic, just chaos and learning and transformation. Again, part of this decade of the roaring 20s. But I started that back in 2020. And yeah, this week I took my final board, oral board, address, prayer, 2 connections to the spirit world with evidence to show that there was no doubt in the audience that everybody knew that this person had once lived a life, moved in to death, or I like to say life after life, and came back through me as a medium to give communications. And so what that does now, it gives me just deeper knowledge within the spiritual construct, and I can go now for a diploma if I want. But this also gives me the accreditation, and this is something I've been working on for many, many years. It's a self-paced course. But I wanted to complete it because as a teacher, if you're a teacher, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, you want to have those accreditations to better speak to the topics and the subjects that or the questions that may come up. And so now that makes me feel more comfortable to actually be a teacher in spirituality, in psychic, in mediumship. And I will be next month, hopefully, fingers crossed, I will be rolling out an event called Experience the Etheric, so I can explain some of the basic details of how to experience and do what I do. So if that's something that you're interested in, get on my email, get on my newsletter. There'll be more information to come, but I'm actually now having the bandwidth and time to actually do that. But, this is years, like I said, 5 years of speaking and demonstrating, the introduction to spiritualism, the actual course itself, accreditations, teachings, and practice of spiritualism, which is an accredited course. When I first started, just philosophy of spiritualism, my logbook, so it doesn't look like much, but that's 5 years, which includes, 8 chapters of papers written and a tutor to sign off. And so it's nice to come to that completion and be done with that, but now being accredited so I can now really be more qualified as a teacher. And I've taught classes in the past. I have my spiritual development group, but it's just something that I wanted to do. Another certificate for the wall if you want, if you guess. I have a couple up there already. So my undergrad, my sports medicine graduate studies. But this is something that I wanted to complete for me. I don't get any extra money. There's no finance. I had to pay for it, but that's the intuition that I always talk about, investing in ourselves to know the knowledge both around us, the ancient knowledge, the historical knowledge, but also just to go deeper if you're, looking to, fulfill a spiritual path. And you may not even be on that. And there's a big difference between spirituality and religion, which we can talk about another date. But for today, with everything going on, as I was sitting in meditation, I wanted to talk about anxiety because I've even had a few members in my tribe that are really dealing with just extreme dark nights of the soul, anxiety. What's their purpose? Why are they here? And I thought it would be a good refresher to talk about this. And the quote that I had heard, I can't remember where I heard this, but I just found it to be very fascinating. When we get that nervousness, when we get that anxiety, it's okay to be that. That means you're alive, right? I always say it's not fun getting old, but it's better than being being put in the grave or being what's the word I'm looking for? I guess I need more coffee because I was just telling my wife this morning. Totally draw a blank. Sorry. Hey, you know what it is? Just being transparent. Oh my goodness, why can I not think of the word? I'll come back to it. But the phrase that I heard was, when you have that nervousness, when you have that uncertainty, when you have that doubt, embrace that and reframe so it doesn't become the anxiety. Reframe it so it becomes something that you can move into and feel it, address, and move past it. And it says this: get your butterflies flying in formation. So those butterflies are down here. From a spiritual sense, we have an ancient system called chakras. We have our auric field. If I was to equate that, it's like the Mother Earth giving off the borealis lights, right? That's the auric field, right? Humans give off auric field energy, right? We give off energy in our heart. And the chakras go through the body. There's a lot of them. Most of the times there's the main 7 or 8 that we refer to, from, the crown chakra to the third eye chakra, the throat chakra, the heart chakra. But down here in the tummy, we call this, from a Qigong standpoint, we call this the dantian, or the heater, because you can create a lot of energy and a lot of heat from just breath work. But down here, when they say trust your gut, it has nothing to do with the food you eat and where that food goes into your stomach. It actually has to do with your belly button, which is the psychic area where you first were formed, incarnated, within the womb of your mom. And so when you have those nervousness down here, you feel it. We call that the solar plexus. So if you're feeling anxiety, a way to reframe anxiety to help so it doesn't become something negative or bad, like, oh, calm down or stop crying or get a hold of yourself. No, it's a reframing to say, you know what? Get your butterflies flying in formation so you can embrace and so you can change your focus on the things that come at us, because life throws a lot of stuff at us, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to give you the anxiety toolkit. One other announcement, besides just, finally being accredited and passing a 5-year study program, YouTube channel over 40,000 Prospector subscribers. Thank you. But also today is Diamonds Day. And if you are not yet a subscriber, go right here to marclainhart.com or click in the comment section of wherever you're following this show. And there will be a link to subscribe to 2 platforms. Patreon Prospectors, which is it's a membership based on what you want to pay, from everything from $2.22 to $11.11. I think I have 4 categories: 222, 444, 555, and 1111. But I try to do that for a reason, from a numerology standpoint. But that's Patreon Prospectors. Again, you go right here to marclainhart.com. I'll try to put the link in later in the show if I can. Or you can stay here on Facebook and click on the subscribe Diamonds Hub subscribers. And that's $4.99 a month. And what that does is, the perks of being a subscriber now, for what I do and the work and the articles and the shows that I do, the podcast, the YouTube channel, is it gives you more direct access to me. And what I mean by that is, today is the first Friday of the month, and the first Friday of every month, if you're a paid subscriber through Diamonds Hub or Patreon, then you will have access to 2 opportunities today through the Zoom platform. This is the Zoom platform. And on those closed pages for paid members only, again, you can be a free member on my Patreon, but you won't get access. You'll stay in the breakout room, or the waiting room, if you will. So you have to be a paid member. Excuse me. Wow, that came out of nowhere. Oh, we're just having an interesting day today. But Patreon and Diamonds Hub, those are my subscriber platforms. What that gives you on the first Friday of every month is 2 opportunities. Today at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then again at 3 p.m. 2 opportunities, 2 links to come in and have a session with me. And that session, depending on how many people are in the waiting room, if I have a lot of people, then we usually have a 10-minute time. If there's not a lot of people in the waiting room, we can manage the time, depending on what you need. But it's a better way as a subscriber versus paying a full, you can pay for a full booking with me, but it's going to be much more expensive, because my time is my greatest commodity while I'm here, not the money, my time. And what that does is, the first Friday of every single month, as a paid subscriber on those 2 platforms, it gives you the ability to come in and have a chat. We could look at psychic, we could do healing, we could do meditation, we could do a distant healing, we can do numerology, we can do mediumship. It's really an opportunity to take advantage of your subscription and have that to look forward to every single month for the rest of the year, the first Friday of every month, called Diamonds Days, because we're always looking for the diamond within, right? The diamond within and the many hidden gems that are all around us. And just because we don't see it doesn't mean it is not here. And there are many things that would back that up from a scientific standpoint. And everything from gravity to wind to the air we breathe to the Wi-Fi network that's connecting you and I. So there's a lot of things out there that we don't see with the physical eye. And my job and my journey and my curiosities as the intuitive prospector is to help you prospect for that in a way that's not so out there, but in a educated, logical, reasonable way to have an increase in your perspective. So if that's something you're interested in, join us. You can learn more at marclainhart.com, or just type in the Intuitive Prospector and you'll get to that subscription page to get onto those links. And I hope that you'll join me here in about an hour. Actually an hour from now at 11:30 will be the first link. And the links are different, and you can only get to those links through the page. They're not presented here. So again, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then again afternoon 3 p.m. because I have people, I have students and clients all around the world. So that's an international time zone. For the early morning, 11:30 is for people over in Europe, and for the later 3 p.m. is more people for here in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. So just those are the time frames. But we've been doing it, and I hope you take advantage of that perk as a subscriber. Diamonds Day, first Friday every day. Today is that first Friday. Today is June 6th, which I believe is D-Day. If I remember my historical days, this is the time of when we launched one of the biggest invasions to end World War II. It was June 6th. June 6th or June 7th? Somebody will, I'm sure somebody out there will correct me. Okay, so let me get over into the pages so we can see who's hanging out with us. Bear with me. So we're going to talk anxiety, and we're also going to do a meditation to help you with the anxiety. So something that I've put together. I just you have to bear with me because I am a one-man show, producer, host, editor, content creator, whatever you want to call it. All right, so here we go. And page. Okay. Prospector. Okay. So again, morning to my team, my moderators, my admins. If you're on, thank you so much for keeping the page clean. If we get any negative comments, I just, you're entitled to free speech. We're not going to censor you here, but we're not going to tolerate any kind of abuse, bullying, things that are just not part of a civil, normal conversation. So if you're coming in here and trying to get people to come to your page for more accurate readings, whatever the hell that means, don't do it, because not only you're going to get blocked, you get reported to Facebook, and you won't be able to get back into the community. So the best way to stay in the community is not do shit like that. But of course, come in, comment. You can have a different perspective, and we can always agree to disagree, but let's keep it civil. Let's keep it uplifting. And again, your strength is in your ability to collect perspectives, not right or wrong, anything. I pretty much, I go with Plato's philosophy. Somebody that claims to know it all knows nothing at all. I just have a lot of experiences, and I share that wisdom and those soul adventures with you. And we can just let's keep it healthy. Let's keep it uplifting. The world needs more of that. So the best way is to follow the rules of the road. If you can't do that, that's okay. You'll get blocked out because my moderators and my administrators are watching the comments as they come in. So hi, Tara. Hi, Angelique. Couple of you seeing. Angel White, hello to you. Colleen, hi to you. Okay, so we got a couple of you coming in. Good to see you here. Hope you're having a great Friday. So today's message is all about anxiety. And I'm going to give you an anxiety toolkit, and I'm also going to give you a meditation to work on for a few minutes to maybe you're just right now having a really shitty, horrible, uncertain day. There seems to be a lot of energy out there with that. But today's message is how to get your butterflies in formation. Or I wrote it down, get your butterflies flying in formation. I heard somebody say that, and I was like, you know what? That's a great exercise, because we get our butterflies, we get nervous, we get uncertainty, worried about failure, which if you follow my journey, I teach on failure as a good thing, first attempt in learning, and fear, which fear drives many people in today's society, false evidence appearing real, face everything and rise, right? And so this is going to help you with the journey. And I just really kind of put it together myself years ago when I was going through it. It started with the loss of my brothers and my father-in-law all at the same time: murder, brain cancer, multiple sclerosis. With that murder, there was many trials that we had to go through and face my brother's killers. So those three events really. This is several years ago, but this is really what those events happened years ago put me here today to have this discussion with you now. And so this is a personal anxiety kit that I had put together years ago to help me deal with, what life throws at us. Life doesn't ever ask us what we want. Life happens, and the goal becomes the flexibility of how we navigate the many changes in life. One of my mentors, she's now in the spirit world, but she would always say, when I started down the spiritual path in 2008, she said to me, Mark, the road is never straight and narrow. It's actually a long and windy road. And if you stay on that path, there'll be trials and tribulations, but the juice is worth the squeeze. And it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And through that marathon, you will grow, you will evolve, you will transform. And she always reminded me that once growth stops, decay begins. And I've never wanted to be that, because it's lifelong learning, right? We all have our certain tiers of educations or trade school, or, mine started with the military, the Coast Guard, that led me to my AA degree, that led me to my undergrad, that led me to my graduate degree, that led me to shit. I never thought I'd study at Stanford, for God's sake. I didn't think I was ever smart enough. I grew up in a family where academics and doing your homework was never pushed. It was never, quite the opposite. I actually was told that you're an idiot and stupid. You'll never make it, right? I never bought into that BS. I never bought into that learned behavior. And if you would have said years ago that I would have completed a course at Stanford, I would have went, how the heck, who are you talking to? But we have these things of lifelong learning, including my 5 years of accreditation now as a spiritualist. And what that does is it helps you live a better life and a more informed life, and knowledge is power. And so what that does is, and it doesn't even have to be education. It could be hobbies or things of trade, electrician, plumbing, carpentry, things that you're interested in, but keep growing, keep learning, because once growth stops, decay begins, and you're going to have those butterflies. You are going to be nervous. And if you're not nervous, then maybe life isn't as important as you thought it was, right? Because that nervousness, those butterflies that reside right down here, get your butterflies flying in formation so you can accomplish the things that you want to do in life. And like I said, okay, somebody help me out, because I'm trying to draw this word, and for some reason I'm just drawing a blank. Hi, Katie. If you're not buried, you're cremated. Oh my gosh, how could I not? So I always say, yes, it sucks getting a little bit older. This year has been very transformative for me, for my body, but I also put my body through years of 10 years in the Coast Guard, 13 years as a firefighter. And so my surgeries are service connected and having to get repaired. It sucks getting older, but it's better than being cremated, right? Because I don't want to be buried, I want to be cremated. So that's the word I was trying to recall earlier that I couldn't recall it. So never mind, you don't need to give me that word. Getting old is tough, but it's better than cremation. But in life, every single day when we wake up, you should have events that are going to make you nervous, fearful, maybe even be like, you know what, I'm going to take Marc's advice. If I would have failed my board on Wednesday, I was already planting seeds to be like, okay, if I fail at that first attempt in learning, what part did I fail? What part can I tune into? What part can I study better and go take it again and not give up the fight, right? Fortunately, I put all the work in to study and passed my board exceptionally well and had a high in the 90s score. So I'm grateful for that. But there's always those butterflies. And I had butterflies on Wednesday, especially when you got like 45 people in a divine service looking back at you to talk to dead people, right? But they're not dead, they're living. It's life after life. And what that does is it helps you to reframe anxiety and say to yourself, okay, I have butterflies. The what if world comes up, or what if I fail? Okay, what if you do, but what if you pass, right? So it's a technique called reframing that I learned years ago through my counseling, my biofeedback, my hypnotherapy. I had a grieving counselor through all this. So I've had the training, I've had the education, I've had the experiences, if you will. And there was even what was it? There was something that I saw earlier. It says how the light hits differently because you've done the work in the dark, right? But if you can get your butterflies flying in formation, embrace that nervousness, that also tells you that you're alive. But years ago, I didn't understand any of this. And so I as a child, I think I was 27 when my brothers, when I got the call that my brother had been murdered, right? But what I did after that through my journeys or my soul adventures, I put together this personal anxiety kit. And I want to share that with you today. So this is a step-by-step guide. And these are ways to gather items for your kit. And it might be different for all of you, but this is my kit. This is what I put together. So I don't have it with me, but I actually have a small blanket that is Yoda, of course, Star Wars, right? But I have a blanket. Oh, there's Yoda. He's peeking out at us right there. Little Grogu. I have a blanket, and I also have a personal handkerchief that I can have when needed, just to have that touch, to have that comfort, to almost to put around for protection. So a small, soft blanket is always, or a scarf or a bandana. I have bandanas in all my bags when I'm hiking, when I'm traveling, to have that. I can put it around my neck, and it's a sense of comfort to help reduce anxiety. There's also little things like stress balls. You've seen them where you squeeze them. I actually have my yin and yang meditation balls, and you can hear they have little bells in them. So sometimes if I need to bring my anxiety down, I can go to my personal anxiety kit and actually grab these stress balls and put them in my hand, and the sound, you may not hear it because I don't have the sound adjusted right on Zoom, and I can change that a little bit. But there's bells inside, and so that gives those bells a sense of Oh, okay. So small blanket or scarf or bandana or something that you personally connect to have that touch. Squish toy, meditation balls. I also have a finger spinner. These are fun. Yeah, this is called a finger spinner. I have it right here. So there are times when I'm just like, I can't control the world, but I can control how I respond because it's not the strongest that survive. It's not the smartest that survive. It's those that are most flexible. So that's why my mentor had always says the road is not a long, straight and narrow path. It's a long and windy road because you're going to get the spiral effect, right? That's the spiritual pathway. A lot of what we resist persists and the lesson repeats until it completes, until we learn that, and then we continue on the journey. But this is known as a finger spinner, or you can get a cube. Do I have a cube? I don't have my Rubik's cube. I have a Rubik's cube, but I can use this and actually be like, oh, okay, and spin it, make it even a little fan. Ooh, play with it. It's you're what you're doing is you're reframing the mind, right? And that's what we're talking about today is how to get your butterflies flying in formation when you have doubt, anxiety, fear, depression, suicidal thought, suicidal actions, which I hope that is not the case. And if there is, we now have the suicide lifeline pound 988 that you can always call. It changed the last 2 years, but it used to be the suicide prevention lifeline, and it actually had a number, and it was actually 1-800-273-TALK, or go to suicidepreventionlifeline.org. They've actually simplified to now, if you're needing to talk to somebody, please do, because a lot of times when people go down that road of suicide ideation, or suicide thoughts, suicide ideation, suicide activity, or attempts, it's because they're in so much pain they just want the pain to stop and don't think about the next day, right? So that pound 98 can really, which is a national number now, very simple. There's always somebody available. So that's another part of your anxiety toolkit, is an actual phone number. I like to have aromatherapy. I've got one going. I got a diffuser going off right off camera here, but I also make my own lavender out of my garden. I make my own lavender love, and we call that shift spray, reframe spray. Take that breath in. That lavender actually can trigger the emotions. If you don't have lavender love, you haven't gotten a bottle from me, there's another one that I call boom booms, and I carry these with me. I carry them when I'm golf, when I'm driving. I carry one in my pocket. And from a sporting event, if you played sports in the past, you'd see athletes on the side go, woo, kind of get back in the game, right? Woo, right? So this one is, what flavor is this? This is spearmint. So I got a couple different flavors called Boom Boom. So aromatherapy can be very, very important. Tools to trick the mind, Rubik's Cube. I've got a finger piano right here. Let me change the settings here real quick so you can hear it. Now I've gone to the musician setting. Right? Singing bowl. Chimes. Change my setting back so you can hear my voice a little bit better. So Zoom gives you now the ability to turn on and off the setting so you can perform music. Guitar, rain stick, which sits right behind it, singing bowls off here, frequencies that help with healing, a drum right behind my left shoulder here. So these are things that you can do that are calming tools, right? So in our anxiety toolkit today, your personal anxiety kit, like I said, small blanket, soft blanket, scarf, bandana, stress ball, squishy toy, fidget spinner or cube, aroma items, aromatherapy. You can even take sensual lotion. Like I have my favorite lotion, this is called Black Currant Vanilla Body Cream. And so you can actually just keep it in your drawer right next to you, or put it in your kit. And what you do is you then not only get the lotion, but it becomes part of that aromatherapy, and you can, bring that into your awareness. So calming tools that we're going to work on as well. Even my diffuser kit, I have the wellness bean set, and inside the wellness bean set, there's many different categories that I can drop into my diffuser. Anything from happy, relaxed, calm mind, immunity, refreshing, and sweet dreams. Right. So these are all tools, calming tools. guided meditations. There's a lot of guided meditations out there. I run a few of them here in what I do. Earphones or headphones. Sometimes just if there's so much noise going on around you, get some noise reducing cancellation headphones and just put those in and listen to the sound of your breath, if you will. I find that to be very, very helpful. Quotes, inspirational quotes, whether it's in my podcast, Inspired Living, or quotes or mantras. Once growth stops, decay begins. Dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live, and discover the diamond within. I got all sorts of my students in my tribe, in my group, call them Markisms now. So I guess I'll refer to them as Markisms, which is fine, which is great. But it's the kit that you can put together to help with your journey. Sensory items, like I said, hand lotion, aromatherapy, tactical objects. Tactical objects or textured fabric can really, really be good at getting those butterflies flying in formation, or to deal with anxiety. So you don't go down the rabbit path, because anxiety, trust me, all leads to much more darker paths. You don't want to go there. PTSD, depression, like I said, that conversation we've had. So I have little things as reminders off camera. This is a stone that says breathe. If you come around my house, you'll see that I've got stones that I've collected from all around the world on my hikes here in the Pacific Northwest, as far as Malta. I've got stones up here. I'm a rock hound, but I bring those to bring that energy into my studio, and I have these stones that have these, reminders to listen, because listen and silent is an anagram, but have two different meanings. So these can be constant reminders to help with your anxiety and have that anxiety toolkit. Another one is water. Just having a water bottle, just taking a drink of water. Hydration, right? Just little things. Tissues. I don't have any tissues right off camera, but tissue can be helped, because maybe you just need to cry it out. Maybe you just need to yell it out. I've done both in my journey and the experiences that I've gone through. Small notebook. Actually, I've got a couple here. I've got a dream journal. I've got a artist manual to where, doing art, doing little things to draw and to kind of quiet the mind. Coloring. These are all things that we've worked on in my group, and something that I've applied to, to my anxiety kit, my personal anxiety kit, if you will. So those are some examples of, using different tools to put into your box. And again, it's whatever's for you, right? This is just my personal kit that I'm sharing with you today. You can have a calm down card, where I just did a reading today, and the card that I picked for today was perseverance, right? So you can do a positive deck. You could do, I don't know, another card I picked. I allow myself to reach my highest potential. Reminders of why I'm here and what I'm doing. I even have off camera an EMF detector. So if the energy changes in my space, this will actually light up. And I keep it right off here so I can catch it in my periphery to let me know. Just because I don't see it doesn't mean that it's not here or around me. I don't go to the negative, scary Hollywood shit, you guys. I don't buy into that. I know it's there. You can't have the light without the dark, but I choose to protect my peace and be focused on the things that matter and the things that are higher vibration, not the things that are lower vibration, filled with scariness and fear and doubt and all that. And it's just a reminder that you are proof that rising after breaking is the sacred work. And so if you're on this path and you've dealt with what I've dealt with anxiety and depression and PTSD, then put this kit together and put it together. Here's some ways to organize your kit. Use a small portable container or pouch. I actually have a little bag. Arrange items logically, ensuring accessibility. So when I'm traveling, I have a travel bag, and within certain pockets, I know where certain things, including my bandana, my spinner, some chewing gum. But you can also label components if you need to for quick references. So, it depends on how you want to be organized, but you can put your kit together. When it comes to putting your kit together now and organizing your kit, we need to identify some triggers and some coping strategies for what may trigger your anxiety or your depression. So what I do is I write down specific triggers and personalized reminders or coping techniques, like one, reframing something. if you can reframe, and this goes back to a teacher I followed years ago, Dr. Wayne Dyer, and he always said, if you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at will start to change. That's a reframing of how you focus. Your focus does determine your reality, if you will. So, I always have that mindset, detach like it's done, smile like it's on its way, trust like it's already yours, right? Because certainty bends our reality. And, this goes all the way back to Rumi, the 12th century mystic and poet, that always said, live life as it's rigged in your favor, right? So that's your mindset. Or you could say that your life sucks and have that perspective, but I hope that you don't, because it's only going to just bring more sucky things into your awareness, right? But if you have a certainty of positivity and inspiration and focus, I personally believe from my own experiences, you can bend reality, the matrix, if you will. But identify your triggers, because you may not even know what is triggering. It could be anything from a past relationship, family members, your work, certain environments that you're surrounded in that just are not positive and self-growth and more self-sabotage. So, if you find these triggers, write them down so you become aware to them, because awareness is the greatest agent for change. And that's what I've learned in my own spiritual journey. You can include little exercises like deep breathing, grounding techniques, positive affirmations. One of the techniques that I use to when my mind gets a little bit ahead of me, as I'll practice the pause, look around, and actually name 10 things that are right in front of me: lotion, boom boom, mouse, pen, paper, finger piano, EMF meter, water, singing bowl, microphone, coffee cup. If you do that, you'll see all of a sudden the mind calms down. The mind is not focused on what is at hand. And that's important, because you've now identified your triggers, and identify them, write them down, and then have a technique to get past that trigger so it doesn't lead you down the full path of anxiety. When you have that anxiety and you're feeling that anxiousness, again, you may get the nervousness. And if you do, then reframe it and say, how can I get my butterflies flying in formation that's positive and a positive outcome for me? So, when I'm feeling anxious, I take a moment to breathe deeply and acknowledge how I'm feeling. Acknowledgement and awareness are two of the most powerful things for, acknowledging how you're feeling. You may feel like shit, be like, I feel like crap. Yell at the world, howl at the moon, if you will, right? That's fine, because by acknowledging it helps you to release it and let it pass on. This too shall pass, right? When you're in that moment, reach for your kit. Have things off, whether you're traveling or not. I've got a stone right here. This is actually, I could put it in my pocket. It's an old, it's great. This was given to me years ago by a student, and it's actually smoothed out wood that he had made. And I can put it in like a stress stone, a worry stone, and I can actually rub it. And so that's something that I can grab real quick that nobody even needs to know. It can be your own, this is your own personal kit. But I have things like that. So when you're triggered or you're having a moment and you notice that anxiety is starting to come in, reach for the calming items, reach for the lotion, reach for the aromatherapy, reach for the boo boo. I actually use a lot of CBD, calm. This is actually hemp infused without the high, and I actually sell it. You can go to my website, Marc Lainhart, called Calm and Focus. And so you can actually take these. If I'm feeling anxiety, I'll be like, oh, okay. Sublingual under my tongue. It's a calming effect, right? Some of you have heard of microdosing. I have a student right now who's trying his microdosing for the first time with a small dose of psilocybin, mushrooms. Science has shown it that plant medicines have an impact directly on the human consciousness and the human healing. I've experienced it many times myself this last year with all of my transformation, surgeries, retirement. I'm a big fan of hemp, because hemp has over 50,000 different uses, from paints to canvases. It's one of the only plants that you can actually bury in dirty soil, like, contaminated soil, and the plant will actually clean the soil around it. It kind of reminds me of, the lotus flower. You can see the lotus flower back here on the pillow on my jack back right back there. See that lotus flower represents coming out, something beautiful coming out of the mud. And for me, I'm a big fan of hemp, cannabis. And what's the ironic, it's hemp 20 years ago that actually got my brother killed because it was illegal. It's where I'm at now in the world, it's legal. So if you need to, hit some cannabis, hit the cannabis. That's a calming effect, right? And it's a plant medicine, not manufactured by man, and has been around for thousands of years, long before alcohol, long before manufactured prescribed pills, right? So plant medicines may be something that you want to look at as far as how to use your kit and use these calming techniques and tools that I'm sharing with you today. Listen to pre-selected guided meditations or calming music. Music is such a spiritual transformation. I don't have time to get into the details of the frequency of music, but music is a series of notes put together to create music, right? And so, write down your feelings in that notebook that I just was talking about. Move into relaxation techniques, deep breathing, just not breathing just from the chest, but breathing from your belly. Belly breathing is very helpful in calming and reducing anxiety. I use the 4-4-4 technique. It's something I first learned when I was in the Coast Guard to manage stress as a firefighter, as a first responder, as a law enforcement officer years ago in another life. But we would work on our breath as a calming technique, and it's called the 4-4-4. 4 breaths in, hold for 4, exhale for 4. It's interesting because my EMF meter actually just fluctuated on that. Again, just because we don't see it doesn't mean it's not here. And then you hold for 4. So in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. It's called the box technique. So you just visualize a box, 4-4-4. So that's a really great, quick way to bring down, one, reduce thoughts, but also bring down your anxiety. Visualize, go to your happy place. When I first started biofeedback, they'd be like, Mark, go to your happy place. Now at 27, I didn't want to be in therapy, didn't want to go to my happy place. So I really struggled. But after the, third or fourth time of doing it, by the 8th session, I could see a difference of how I was feeling. I don't think I pulled it out, but here it is. Another technique that you can use is called color ribbons. This is actually just a cat toy that I had. And you can take the colors and hold, the bell, but you can hold the colors and you can actually stroke different colors. This has a texture to it, so it can actually help me feel the texture and then the color of blue. Well, maybe I'm feeling blue, so I'll just acknowledge and address that I'm feeling blue. I'm not, but that's just for an example, right? So you can work with colors as well. I had both ribbons and a cat toy. Tuning fork. Just like we need to tune the instruments, we need to tune us because we're instruments of life. So you can activate the tuning fork. Right? Another tool that's great. Pulse oximeter. I actually use this a lot when I'm doing my breath work. So I turn the pulse oximeter on, put my finger in it, and it can measure my oxidation rate, which right now, give it a second. We'll do the meditation, see if it changes. So right now, my O2 is at 95%. My beats per minute is 110. And it's probably a little bit higher because I'm drinking coffee. But when we do the meditation here in a second, we'll see if this actually drops. But when I do deep soma breath work, Wim Hof breath work, breathing from the belly that I'm talking about, of that box 4 count, your actual saturation oxygen goes down and you can measure it. You can get this off Amazon, it's like $20, right? So visualize calming place, go to your happy place, positive outcomes, always focus on the good that's coming your way, not waiting for the shoe to drop. Because I hear that a lot, just waiting for failure, first attempt in learning, that's what life is. But also, maybe do some gentle stretches or some body scans. Another thing that I was taught was how to focus, where am I most tense? Now, for me, I'm pretty tense all over because I've had 4 major surgeries, but I don't let that hold me back. So I focus on areas of my body and I breathe into that part of my body. I do a scan, I do a mind focus and go. And then I may actually need to do some stretching, right? Some Qigong. And then, of course, we get into the post use of our reflection. And what I mean by that, after feeling calmer, note any helpful techniques that you did along the way, whatever tools you got into, whatever, lotions or headphones or, everything that I've just shown you off camera. Adjust your items in your kit based on what worked and what didn't work. Maybe the lotion didn't work for you. Maybe the meditation balls didn't work for you. Don't put them in your kit. Put the things in your kit that help, and notice that. You won't know until you try, right? And of course, plan to revisit these coping strategies regularly. We are creatures of habit. So if you visit them regularly, then you're going to create those new habits and new thinking and new mindfulness and awareness. And of course, the last part is just the maintenance. Replenish your items, check in on them, change the batteries if you need to, update your notes, or keep quotes fresh off, up on your mirror in the bathroom or when you're in the shower, something that's more personalized to you. And of course, practice using the kit in a safe, calm environment to build that familiarity. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. And now we're going to move into some meditation. So again, let me just go back over the page, give any other shout outs for you. And again, if you're not a subscriber, today is a good day to join and become a subscriber. Just go to marclainhart.com, click on the subscriber store, become a Diamonds Hub subscriber, $4.99 a month, which is actually less than a cup of coffee. Or get over on my Patreon page, and from there, you'll be able to access links for today. And today is the first Friday of every month is Diamonds Day. 11:30 a.m. So in about a half hour here, we're going to do a meditation, and then I'm going to jump off. I'm not doing a lot more live readings here anymore, unless you are our subscriber. I'll know because you'll have a badge next to you, a subscriber badge, or you're a follower or fan of the page. But you need to like the page just to even start this process. But become a subscriber, Diamonds Hub subscriber, Patreon Prospector. And today I can talk to you a little bit later here. The morning session in about a half hour, you can come in as a paid subscriber. I have some members on my Patreon that are free members. You'll sit in the waiting room. That doesn't qualify you because, again, I actually lose money by doing this. It's more expensive to book a 1 hour reading with me than it is to subscribe. But this is why I do that, to give back. Good morning to my mom. Good morning, Lori. Good morning, Christine. Good to see everybody here. Congratulations, Angelique saying, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's been a long 4 years, but we keep grinding out. We keep doing. So get on the subscribers page. I'll see you subscribers here in a half hour in the Zoom room. So you can either call in or come in on video. I prefer you come in on video so I can see your lovely faces and chat with you. And we have a time slot for you to talk about anything that's going on. Again, meditation, healing, psychic, mediumship, sound bath, it's whatever we want to explore and prospect together. So what we're going to do is we're going to move into a meditation for a few minutes. My oxygen has actually gone up 97%. I started at 95. And this is a meditation that I've put together myself. This is everything that I use, whether it's on my podcast, my YouTube channel, here on my shows. These are always approved through whatever platform I'm using. So this music that was done today was called Find My Way by Brian Todd. That's the opening song of today's show, Find My Way. And then we're going to move into a meditation called Earth Meditation. And it's going to be focused on us leaving Earth through space. And what this is going to help you for the next few minutes, it's going to help you get out of your mindset. It's going to help you focus on your breath. So during this meditation, I want you just to focus on your breath, close your eyes, get rid of anything that can distract you, because trust me, Murphy's Law, you try to do this and you get distracted with an alert, your phone pings, just try to turn all that stuff off just for a few minutes. We're only going to do this for about 5 or 6 minutes. I'm going to play this Earth Meditation by Magnan Gelly. And then I've put this video together through content that I now have access to that is trademark free and copyright free. And then again, after we end the meditation, you can join me at 11:30 as a subscriber. You can also catch the live next show on my YouTube channel at 1 o'clock today. That is when there's no transparency. That's where we have conspiracy. That's a topic I talked about a few weeks ago. So let's get into the space. Let's get out of the head space and let's get into the heart breath space. Need someone to help me prescribe. I'm not very good on the internet. Can you send me instructions on how to get as a prescriber? Yeah, Lori, if you go to the very top, there should be like a little marker that says subscribe, or go to the Intuitive Prospector page and look for the subscribe button up there. If you want to do Diamonds Hub, that's on Facebook. If not, go to marclainhart.com and the links are in the subscriber store for Patreon and both Diamonds Hub. So those links are there. That should help you get there. I try to make it as easy as I can, even if you're not as great with technology. So because I have all age groups from young to very seasoned. So that's probably your best bet, is go here and get the link, or look if somebody can provide it. Perfect. But we're going to move into meditation. So again, if you got a pulse oximeter, great. We'll see how it does. I'm going to go ahead and get the screen set up. So go ahead and just for the next few minutes, just move into a space where you can just be in the now, in the present moment. Focus on your breath, turn everything off, and let's take the time to disconnect so we can make that time to reconnect. And I hope you enjoy this little space exploration of getting outside of the earth and all the bullshit and all the chaos and uncertainty, anxiety that's here, let's go on a space travel. Let's go on a time warp. This will remind you of something you may see in Star Trek or Star Wars when they do in the hyperdrive. This is what it reminded me of. But I hope you enjoy it, and just take this few minutes just to enjoy you in the present moment. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little space exploration with me to leave this crazy planet of ours for a few minutes. That was about 7 to 8 minutes as far as that meditation goes. Again, the it's called Earth Meditation by Minyan Gelly. It was the music provided, and then hopefully it helped. So my beats, my actually my oxygen went up, but my beats per minute, I was at what was I? I was at 110. I went down to 70, 71 now, 72 by just taking that, 8 minutes to uh, just take the time to disconnect and reconnect with who I am and my breath work and all of that. So I hope that that is helpful. I hope that you can put together your own personal anxiety kit. And I hope that you can get when in those times of doubt or fear or worry or nervousness or that anxiety and those butterflies, kick up in the gut, reframe it like we talked about today and get your butterflies flying in formation so you can tackle what is ahead of you and what life offers all of us. So I hope you found that to be helpful. I appreciate every single one of you. If you are a subscriber, we'll be on here in the Zoom here in about 15 minutes for Diamonds Day. Again, first Friday of every month. We will be back on the air next Wednesday with a very special guest for another episode of Inspired Living. We've had some really cool guests. We're booked out now well a few months in advance, so there's some great guests coming up, some great content. And again, you can get Inspired Living wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. You can visit us here at marclainhart.com. And if you do listen to the show, please leave a review. It's always important to leave reviews because it is you as the fans, you as the subscribers, you as the followers, you as the prospectors that have enabled Inspired Living to be not just a best inspirational show, according to FeedSpot, but also now a best spiritual show. So we're in two categories now as best in what we do. And that's just, a reflection of you as the subscribers, downloading, listening, leaving reviews. So if you catch a show that you like, please leave that review. That's always so important. And again, if you want to work with me in the future, and you know where to find me to prospect with me, marclainhart.com, internet search the Intuitive Prospector. We can get a book a reading for you. I will have a new event coming out, Experience the Etheric, now that I'm an accredited spiritualist in both speaking, demonstrating mediumship, and psychic after 5 years of study. And I'm going to be sharing some of those aspects with you. So if you're interested in that, send me an email, get on my newsletter. Many ways to get a hold of me. And if not, we'll see you back here next Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another Metaphysical Meetup with Marc live. And then, of course, next Wednesday, we'll be back on the air for another episode of Inspired Living. So I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for following me and joining me on this journey of self-discovery, to know thyself, to have soul adventures, to try to understand the world a little bit better, know ourselves in our place in this world. And I hope you have a great rest of your weekend as we move into the summer. And I will see you next Friday. So until our next soul adventure together, be kind, be caring, be compassionate. And wherever you're at in the world, whatever's going on, take that time to disconnect so you can make that time to reconnect. And of course, always dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live, and discover that diamond within. We'll see you next time here on Metaphysical Meetup with Marc Live. Namaste. Namago. Cheers.
3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Marc Lainhart, the intuitive prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Marc's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. For more information on Marc's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marclainhart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.